Well, good afternoon, everybody. Day 3 of Ignite, and it's fabulous to just see this room almost packed. I can't even believe it's snowing in Chicago today, so we really appreciate you making the time to come and join us for this session. My name is Mayank Verma, and I'm a Senior Director of Product Marketing at Microsoft for the Cloud Endpoints team. And I'm really excited for this session today. I've actually been waiting for a very long time to get this opportunity to speak to customers. Earlier this week, you heard from Satya, Pawan, Aiden about a new way to make access to your work much more secure with Windows 365 Link. And in this session today, we're going to talk more. We're going to talk about why we built it. We're going to talk about how it works. And we're going to talk about what does it mean for your end users and IT. So let's dig in. Before we move in, I thought it would be appropriate to just take a pause and just recognize that it's been 3 years since we launched Windows 365. And this August, it was the 3rd birthday for Windows 365. We do want to thank all of you for your trust, for your support for Windows 365 through the launch of this product. I do want to recognize a lot of things that have happened since the post-pandemic world and how this group, who is with us in the room, and many of you who are joining us online, have actually navigated the complexities of the hybrid workplace in a very changing landscape. You found new ways to move workloads to the cloud, and you've kept employees and business processes up and running in a very complicated cybersecurity landscape. We are grateful to be a partner in this journey, and we know that you face many more demands. We've also heard one thing loud and clear. Success with virtualization, as you embrace a new virtualization solution, does create a lot of unique needs and demands for enterprise IT. First, end users in your organization, they expect a range of devices to be productive for them with simplified access and authentication solutions that support multiple peripherals and low latency. Next, as an IT admin or an IT group for your organization, you've got to secure these endpoints in a very complicated cybersecurity landscape, especially when these endpoints have a lot of local data and apps. And lastly, we all know that being in the IT department, you have to drive for efficiency. You have to make sure that you're bringing the right solutions to your organization and really bringing down that total cost of ownership for your organization. We do the same thing at Microsoft. I think it's all our jobs to make sure we are getting the best efficiency for our companies to really drive down the TCO. And that is a fundamental reason why Microsoft actually introduced the first cloud PC device early this week. I know you've all heard about this a lot through Ignite. But this was something that we've done based on what we've heard from all of you in the room and online. The first cloud PC device purpose-built to connect securely to Windows 365 in just a few seconds. And I really mean it. I've been using this for a long time, and it is just a few seconds. Wait till you get your hands on it. You'll hear us a lot talk about Windows 365 Link, the simple, secure, purpose-built device for Windows 365. It's really important to just anchor on that point that this is purpose-built. A lot of design decisions from the product standpoint went into the fact that this is a purpose-built device for a SaaS solution like Windows 365. The device is now in preview, and it will be available for purchase in select markets starting April 2025. Let's take a closer look at how Windows 365 can help your end users as well as IT to make the most of your productive time through cloud-powered performance, security and sustainability in the product built by design, as well as simplified IT management, which is so essential to all of you in this room and online. With Windows 365 Link, as an end user, the device takes just a few seconds to boot up or wake up from sleep. And it is actually a really seamless experience as an end user, whether you're booting up or you're just walking away and just waking the device up, to really help you get started off by either a new login or by just resuming the work where you left off. You could be at your office using the Link device and then just get back home, and then if you have the same Link device, it really gets you back up and running really quickly. It connects directly to Windows 365, so it really gives end users that familiar Windows experience that they expect in a very secure Microsoft cloud. Lastly, it offers local processing. And I do want to emphasize that this is local processing with no extra configuration. Super important for all of you as you think about virtualization. No extra configuration for high-performance workloads, like a high-performance video or conferencing solutions. We are supporting high-fidelity Microsoft Teams meetings, and we'll continue working with our partners, such as WebEx by Cisco, to ensure that you have the best meeting experience when you're using UC solutions like WebEx. Windows 365 Link is secure by design. The device has no local data, no local apps. In fact, not even an admin user. Your corporate data stays within the Microsoft Cloud. The security baseline policies in the Link device are turned on by default. In fact, you cannot turn off security in the Windows 365 Link product. The login experience for your end users is simple and secure, with passwordless authentication provided using Microsoft Entra ID, using the Authenticator app, or using simple USB security keys. You'll actually see a demo of some of these solutions at our booth, and we also have some rich experiences that we'll show you in the next section. Windows 365 Link is also designed to make the best of IT time. Just imagine what you can do with all the time that you get back as savings from this device, and we'll talk a lot about this with our panelists who will be joining us in a few minutes to talk about their experience through the pilot experience over the last few months. The device is compact and lightweight. I'm sure you've seen a lot of that through Ignite this week. You can ship this directly to your end users, and your end users can be up and running in just a few minutes, in just a few simple steps. In fact, I have been using this as a knowledge worker from my home, but we'll also talk about the use cases why we built this device. But it is really simple to just get up and running as an end user and just get functional. It is very simple to manage as an IT admin using Microsoft Intune, with very familiar actions such as remote wipe that have been enabled to manage the device. And lastly, the device stays automatically up to date. Updates are downloaded regularly on this device and are applied when the device is not being used. Really simple from an end-user perspective. Our product teams at Microsoft have worked really hard to ensure that sustainability is built at the core of this device. It matters a lot to all of you. I know all organizations are striving towards certain sustainability goals. Windows 365 Link is made with a minimum of 50% recycled content, and it has 100% paper-based packaging. It is ENERGY Star certified, and in fact, the power consumption on this device is lower than most desktops that are being used with similar displays to connect to Windows 365 with the right sort of peripherals. And it is designed to be long-lasting and repairable. In fact, the device has no moving parts, not even a fan. This dataless aspect of the device, along with the fact that you can directly sign into Windows 365 in just a few seconds, really makes it ideal for shared workspaces. You can think about your desk-based workers who are working in a shared workspace, such as a contact center or a hot desking scenario, which is quite popular in many organizations, or even what we like to call as specialized spaces, such as a reception. Those are targets which are going to be super ideal for your solution. Not that you cannot use it for other cases. As I mentioned, I use it at home as well. And we are going to learn from our customers with the start of this preview on where all do you find the benefit of using the Windows 365 Link device. So let's see some of this in action. At this time, I'm going to invite my colleague, Jaylene Ringer, who is the head of product, to come on stage. Jaylene, welcome.
Thanks. Thank you. Hello. First of all, I just want to say it is incredible to be here, and thank you so much for joining us today. Before we dive in, let's see the product in action. I'm going to walk you through unboxing device to productivity, and while I'm doing it, if you'll just keep your eyes out for the timer in the upper right-hand corner. From unboxing to productivity, Windows 365 Link is ready in minutes. The device has arrived, and Alex, the IT admin, is ready to set up a shared hot desk in the office. He unboxes the device and plugs in both monitors. He then plugs in the USB dongle to connect the wireless keyboard and mouse, as well as the Ethernet cable and camera. Lastly, he plugs in the device and powers it on. With the device powered on, the UBI process begins. Since the device is already connected, he skips the option to select Wi-Fi and accepts the EULA. He's then presented with the final screen to sign into Entra, which will connect the device to the tenant. He enters his work email address and authenticates using a security key with PIN. The device is now automatically joining to the company's Entra tenant and enrolling in Intune, enabling the device to be fully managed. While this is happening, let's talk about a few related security capabilities. Entra's strong authentication methods, conditional access policies, and single sign-on eliminate the need for a password on this device. Security features like Secure Boot, BitLocker, and Hypervisor protected code integrity are enabled by default and cannot be disabled. There's no local data and no local apps, so there's no corporate data on the device. And with no local admin users and strict application control policies in place, no local software can be installed. Only pre-installed software can run on the device. The UBI process is now complete, seamlessly connecting Alex to his cloud PC right where he left off. I sit down at the desk to begin my day. I plug in my FIDO2 security key to the device. I touch the biometric reader to authenticate and connect to my cloud PC. The presentation I've been working on is open on my desktop, just as I had left it. I make progress on my presentation. I then hit Control, Alt, Delete, and sign out of the device and head to lunch. With the hot desk now open, employees come and go throughout the day, each quickly connecting to their cloud PC. I'm now back from lunch and I sign in. Knowing I have a Microsoft Teams meeting to join in a minute, I quickly go to the Settings app and I pair my headset via Bluetooth. I open my calendar and join the meeting with my colleagues to review the presentation. Since Teams is optimized with a VDI plugin, I experience highly performant video conferencing with streaming full 1080p resolution both in and out. The Teams meeting has ended. I sign out for the day, and I leave the office knowing that no data is left behind on the device. It's ready for the next person. It took less than 3 minutes from unboxing to productivity with Windows 365 Link. We'll see if I need my glasses in a moment. I was trying not to. Some of you may have seen me putting them on. Today, you can use Windows 365 from any endpoint with the Windows app. Windows PC, iPad, Mac, Android devices, providing both local and cloud experiences. And when you're connecting to Windows 365, the endpoint itself only needs to do 2 things: authenticate the user and connect them to their cloud PC. So for customers who only want to use a desktop in the cloud, there's room to optimize the endpoint. There's opportunity, maybe is a better way to say it, to optimize the endpoint for these 2 functions. And what we've been hearing from customers is that they are seeking a Windows 365 endpoint that is secure, is simple to manage, and it gets them directly to Windows 365, and it gets them there fast. So these customers, they only need or they only want a desktop in the cloud. And it's with this focused intention that we designed Windows 365 Link. Customers need a secure endpoint. This solution has a small, locked-down, Windows-based OS called Windows CPC that brings the latest amount of Windows needed to connect directly to Windows 365. We started at the most basic layer of the platform, and we just added in the functionality required for this experience: sign-in, settings, Bluetooth. And so with this OS, we're able to dial up security without impacting the experience. Customers asked for simple management. This device is managed by Microsoft Intune, just like the devices it connects to. So IT admins, they're familiar with it. They use it on a very regular basis. And with a small OS, there's less decision points needed. So you don't have to manage 2 full OSs per user. And customers prioritize performance. With optimizations across both the OS and Windows 365, you connect to Windows 365 in seconds, and once you're there, it's performant, it's responsive, high-fidelity experiences. Now, sorry, I'm putting my back to you. Before we move forward, I want to grab this. Before we move forward, I want to walk you through the device, and then I'm going to talk to you about security, simplicity, and performance a little more deeply before we bring up our panel. So let's take a closer look at the device. As Mike mentioned, it is compact, it's fanless, it's lightweight by design, it weighs less than a pound. On the front, there's a USB-A port, as well as an audio jack for easy day-to-day access. I'm going to put this down. On the back panel, there's a USB-C port. This has been a question that I've been receiving the entire time at Ignite. So USB-C port, 2 USB-A ports. We've got a full-size display and HDMI ports supporting dual 4K monitors, Ethernet port, as well as your adapter. And the device is small. It's about 120 millimeters square by 30 millimeters thick, so it really can go almost anywhere. You can put it on your desktop, you could mount it underneath the desk, you could mount it behind the monitor, and it works with the peripherals you need to be productive. You can connect them via USB or Bluetooth, such as your keyboard, mouse, audio, or webcam. Windows 365 Link is secure across the full stack: hardware, OS, application, identity, and cloud layers. First, security is on by default. At the hardware and OS layers, there's a TPM on the device, as well as key security features. Virtualization-based security, hypervisor, protected code integrity, and secure boot are enabled by default and cannot be disabled, ensuring the device is protected through the boot process from power on to the sign-in screen. The device turns on BitLocker encryption as soon as it's set up, and it cannot be disabled, providing further defense in depth. Lastly, applicable OS security baseline policies are enabled by default, so you don't even need to think about it. Secondly, nothing's on the device. As we move up the stack into the application identity layers, it really is about what is not on the device. As I mentioned in the demo, there's no local data, no local apps, and no local admin users, and ensuring all experiences and data, they remain in the cloud where you want them. And with that strict application control policies that can't be modified or disabled, only the software that comes on the device can run on the device, so it's protected from malware. Lastly, the endpoint embraces passwordless. The device only supports Entra ID users and requires single sign-on configuration on the cloud PCs it connects to, promoting a passwordless device. The device is Entra joined and Intune managed, so conditional access policies can be used, providing security across the solution from the device to the cloud PC. And you can sign in with FIDO2 security keys directly, including PIN or biometric, which you saw in the demo, both of those. You can also choose Web Sign-In, which provides multiple authentication methods, including Microsoft Authenticator's phone sign-in, as well as passkeys via cross-device authentication. Windows 365 Link is simple. I'm just going to briefly touch on setup, configuration, management, and auto updates. To use this solution, there are 4 prerequisites in your environment that you may already have in place. You need to enable Microsoft Entra Join for devices. You need to set up a conditional access policy enforcing MFA when joining devices. You need to enable Intune auto-enrollment. And lastly, you need to enable single sign-on for your cloud PCs via their provisioning policies in Intune. So with those prereqs in place, let's talk about setup and configuration, which are designed to be simple and streamlined. In the demo, you saw it took about 30 seconds to unbox the device to power on. And to set up, essentially from powering on the device to productivity, it took just a couple of minutes. This is because there really are only 3 basic steps involved, and you saw them there. You connect to a network, you accept the EULA, and you sign in with your work account, and then you land on your cloud PC, and you're ready to be productive right where you left off. Configuration. If there are specific configurations you want to enable that are applicable to the device, it's simple and familiar because the process is the same as other Windows devices, and there are 2 steps. I'm sure most of you know these very, very well. You configure your policy and assign it to the Windows 365 linked devices. And with a small Windows-based OS, only a small fraction of Windows configuration policies are even applicable, minimizing your decision points. All right, let's talk about managing and updating the device. They're also both simple. Windows 365 linked devices show up right alongside your other managed Windows devices and cloud PCs. And device actions such as wipe, restart, and collect diagnostics work just like on the other Windows devices. And your device is always up to date. By default, device updates are delivered automatically and applied when the device is not in use. Essentially, the device periodically scans for updates, downloads them, and installs them. Then, when the device is not in use, it'll automatically reboot to finish applying the updates. So user productivity is never interrupted. Windows 365 Link is performant. It's fast to sign in. You've seen it. It takes seconds. But once you're on the desktop in the cloud, it's highly responsive. With multimedia redirection, your video experiences are smooth with audio in sync, just as you would expect it to be. It's also optimized for online meetings with Microsoft Teams, providing a highly performant video conferencing by leveraging the new VDI solution for Teams. And as Mayank mentioned, we are working to support high-fidelity meetings with partner solutions such as WebEx by Cisco. While I've been talking about the solution, let's actually talk with a couple of our customers. They are in our pilot program today, and hear directly from them about their experience with Windows 365 Link. Let's please welcome Roman from Krones and Daniel from Phoenix to the stage. Welcome, Roman and Daniel. Let's start with each of you. Talk us a little bit about your organizations and then what your role in your organizations are. Let's start with you, Roman.
Thank you, Jeline. Thanks for having me. Krones is a one-stop shop for producers of liquid goods. We operate worldwide, and we are headquartered in Etteralding in Germany. We employ more than 20,000 people, and we offer lines and machines for beverage and food producers worldwide. In my role as head of workplace design, me and my team, we oversee all the topics and aspects with regards to endpoint strategy, starting from classic desktop operating systems to mobile operating systems, workplace virtualization, endpoint security, and of course, managing all of them with Intune. And in addition, I'm on Windows and Devices MVP for Windows 365. Love to work with Microsoft and contribute to the community. Thank you.
Daniel.
Thanks, Jaylene, and thanks for having me here to talk about the highlight of Ignite. Phoenix Software is a leading Microsoft partner helping organizations across the UK maximize value from their IT investments by leveraging our broad portfolio of IT solutions and managed services. As the principal consultant for end-user computing, I work closely with customers, partners and colleagues driving innovation in the EUC space, especially around Windows 365. I'm also honored to be a Microsoft MVP, which allows me to collaborate with the community and share insights into the evolving landscape of Windows and cloud-based technologies. Thanks.
Welcome. It's been a while. Like I do remember meeting Roman in Munich 6 months back, and then I think we met recently again, and we've come a long way. So thank you for joining us at Ignite in Chicago. So I think for our audience in the room, and for those of us, I know that we probably have a lot online, it'll be helpful, maybe Roman, to start with you, and then Daniel, to just talk about your Windows 365 journey, and why did you choose to be a part of this pilot program with Windows 365 Link? Roman, we'll start with you.
Yeah, great question. Actually, we've started rolling out Windows 365 from the first day of its availability a couple of years ago. And we are an early adopter of Microsoft technology at Krones. And by rolling out more and more cloud PCs to our employees, we pretty soon identified we need a device that is purpose-built to just enable our end users go to their cloud PC fast and secure. So piloting Windows 365 was a great opportunity for us to get our hands on the endpoint at the very first stage to help Microsoft shape and design a product that really helps to solve issues that we have today in the production area, for example. Our frontline workers are moving from station to station in a big production area, and they either have to take an extra device with them, which is pretty unhandy in a production space, or they use shared devices, which means throughout the whole day, when they move around, they need to sign in, they need to start all their applications, and that's not a good experience today.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, what kinds of frontline workers are these?
I mean, we have a big production area, so they operate our machines in different stations, and we have a really big campus.
Right, super helpful. Dan, let's move to you.
At Phoenix, we've been delivering VDI for over 15 years. So when Windows 365 landed, we immediately recognized its potential. It is the future of desktop as a service and Windows in the cloud. And Windows 365 Link in particular is a game changer. It's not just a breakthrough for organizations already using Windows 365. It's also an opportunity for customers to rethink and modernize their approach to VDI. We see tremendous potential across industries, especially in healthcare, where it can enable kiosk-style tap and go, enhanced security for patient data, and support for shared workstation scenarios. Similarly, in the education sector, Windows 365 can modernize shared environments, like computer labs in colleges and universities, offering a seamless and secure experience for users.
Awesome. Awesome, great. Thank you for sharing that.
All right. Roman, will you talk with us a little bit about the pilot program and specifically the end user experience?
Yeah, actually, the experience so far has been really fantastic, and our end users really love it. The device is really simple and easy to use for them, and they can also use the well-known passwordless authentication methods like FIDO keys, for example. And our frontline workers really enjoyed piloting them because if you look back to what I've mentioned before, to their challenges, when they work now with Windows 365 Link, they just sign in to their cloud PC in the morning using Windows 365 Link. They start all the applications they need to work. And once they start moving around between those different stations in the production area, they just need to use another Windows 365 Link device, and they're right back at the state where they left off previously. So no need to start all the applications again, and that really boosts their daily life activities. And that's really great. And talking about the pilot, I also want to use that chance to thank all the Microsoft folks behind the scenes who were working on this product, because we received so great support from them. And what I think is even more important, they were carefully listening to customer needs and taking action, and that's fantastic.
Awesome.
I have to say we've gotten just incredible feedback and input from all of our pilot customers, including you, so thank you.
The pilot experience has been incredible. What makes the device great is it just works. Our end users were able to get connected and productive in a matter of seconds with little to no difference in their familiar Windows experience. For the pilot, we included various departments to test performance, Not only did users find the performance better than their physical devices, they loved how Windows 365 let them pick up seamlessly across different devices. And like Roman said, the Microsoft engineering team behind this have been fantastic, taking on board all the feedback to deliver an incredible product. So a big shout out to them and Rob McMurdo and Team Phoenix for participating as well.
All right, I'm going to ask you the same question, but now if you would focus on the IT admin experience. We'll start with you, Roman.
Sure. I think there are a couple of things to point out for IT admins here. First of all, the device is purpose-built, and it's built to be managed by Intune. And that 100% fits in our cloud-native endpoint strategy at Crons. And getting this device up and running in your enterprise environment really takes just minutes, as we saw in the video before. And secondly, it's all about security. I mean, we've seen the device is purpose-built. The OS is locked down. And you got your security baselines enabled by default, which means bringing that device into your environment is a no-brainer. And you got some great hardware capabilities like TPM 2.0, for example. So to sum it up, I think bringing Windows 365 Link into your enterprise environment is really easy, fast, and secure.
Daniel, what about you?
For IT admins and users, the time to deployment is a huge win. Devices are ready almost instantly with simple plug and play. And with Microsoft Intune as the management platform, the onboarding process is seamless and ongoing management is easy to handle, keeping everything under one pane of glass. This fits perfectly with the cloud-native modern management approach many of our customers have already adopted.
It's wonderful, Daniel. So maybe we'll switch gears a little bit beyond your end user and IT admin experiences. I spoke a little bit about the types of use cases in my conversation on hot desking, contact centers, specialized spaces. I also called out that I actually use it at home as well, and I know a lot of Microsoft people use it at home, and it's a wonderful device at my desk. I'm just curious, like, as you think about this with your pilot experience and what you've spoken about each one of your companies, where do you see, what kinds of scenarios do you see this device playing a role today and in the future? Maybe we'll start with you, Roman.
Yeah, today it's, of course, frontline workers. But if we look into the future, I mean, we have seen so many great use cases in the past days. But what I'm really thinking about is hot desking scenarios. I think that's a really great opportunity to keep the workforce being productive in case, for example, of any unexpected maintenance undergoing for laptops and so on. And of course, I think it's also a benefit to equip our call centers with Windows 365 Link to give them also a modern and a resilient experience here.
Yeah, in fact, our marketing office at Microsoft might be a very good target as well for hot desking because we just go in and we start working. And I would love in the future for us to have some of these so I can just get in. I don't need my laptop with me. I can go and do my work and just get going with my next activity. Thanks for sharing, Roman. Daniel.
We've been championing Windows 365 since day one, and we see new use cases emerging all the time. Hot desk solutions for frontline workers, shared incident response devices, and generally just more secure enablement of remote workforces. More recently, I've been speaking to healthcare providers who use smart lockers for regional pickup to access hardware and devices, which Windows 365 Link is perfect for. Also, a lot of our UK customers are working towards the Cyber Essentials Plus framework, and a crucial requirement of that is reporting on the make and model of devices to maintain an accurate you need an accurate inventory to evaluate that security and compliance. So with other VDI solutions in BYOD or even MAM, this has always been almost impossible. However, with Windows 365 Link and Intune, this becomes a lot easier.
Awesome. I'm just curious, what kind of customers do you have in the UK?
We're primarily public sector facing, but I work all across the UK. So I work with local councils and the NHS and the police and education.
Awesome. Great to hear that.
All right. I think I know some of the answers to this. What are some of the features and capabilities you would like to see on the roadmap?
I think I have two things on my personal wish list. One is for IT admins, and the other one is for the end users. So for IT admins, I think bringing autopilot support for this endpoint would be a really big deal. The device is already today really easy and fast to be set up, but autopilot could help us streamline the whole deployment story for the endpoint, and that would be really fantastic. For the end users, since we see a lot of end users transitioning to NFC-enabled FIDO keys, we would love to see any kind of external NFC readers being supported or similar to enable them using contactless methods to authenticate to the endpoint.
Yes, and both of those are on the roadmap, but definitely hear you.
As mentioned before, we work closely with a lot of healthcare providers, so smart card integration would be a massive benefit, as well as the potential introduction of other form factors, maybe something with a screen and a keyboard to help enable that sort of mobility scenario.
Excellent. Like I know that we have a lot of this roadmap conversation that you just had in the works. I think Gillian and team are working hard on them. In fact, I would have loved to ask this question from a product marketing standpoint, but it was great. I know there's a whole list, and customers are excited. We'll probably learn more through our preview process on what additional things customers may need from us. So just kind of, as we look forward, I know we are announcing preview right now. We look forward towards the general availability, which we've spoken as April 2025. From that timing standpoint, I know there's time needed for customers to build a business case. It's all important. And I know in the device land, it becomes super important on do you have budget allocated? When do you want to buy this thing? What value is really helping you build this business case for your company as you move beyond the preview? And Roman, let's start with you.
Sure. I think there are a couple of things, and just to mention a couple of them, device cost and the total cost of ownership. If I want to build similar use cases for my frontline workers today, I have to take full-fledged Windows devices and spend time and effort to configure boot to cloud, which is also pretty great, but you need a team to get that configuration done, to troubleshoot it, etc. So when I think also a bit in the future about all the lifecycle topics, I think Windows 365 Link is really a big deal here. And as well, I mentioned before, our end users were really able to start working with those pilot devices from the first day on without any extra trainings. And that's a big deal for IT and the end user. It's the user experience, and it's saving you a bunch of time to get those people started.
Great to hear. Daniel, what about you?
There's been a lot of turbulence in the VDI space this year, which has led customers evaluating different ways to modernize that Windows delivery approach. Those assessments see a lot of roads naturally leading to Windows in the Cloud solutions from Microsoft, with Windows 365 leading the way. The Gartner Magic Quadrant for Desktop as a Service says it all. Add to this the predictable pricing to support lower TCOs, and now a dedicated device, which can deliver huge benefits from a device lifecycle and sustainability perspective. It's all very exciting stuff.
And have you both started working on your business case, or are you going to do that from next week?
It's being published now as we speak.
Awesome. Great to hear that. All right, let's keep moving along. Any other final feedback? I know we have a pretty large group over here and online, but as customers are planning for this device in their environments, any final feedback that you would like to share? Roman, we'll start with you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you guys built a really great product, and I really love to see that commitment by Microsoft for Windows in the cloud. That's pretty awesome. So at the end, the only thing I want to say is keep on rocking, Microsoft, and we can't wait to get our hands on the final product.
Awesome. Daniel?
Windows 365 Link is a great product, which makes the adoption of Windows 365 even easier than before. And with Windows in the cloud being such a hot topic amongst our customers, I can't wait to see these in action and get them deployed. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you. This has been fabulous. Let's just have a big round of applause for our panelists. I know we have a few minutes left, so let's just be here, and we'll keep talking. But I think it's going to be, I love what you just said, Roman, keep on rocking, Microsoft. So I think that was my favorite quote from this little panel discussion we just had. I hope you found it useful for all of you who are with us in the room and online. Again, thank you, Roman and Daniel, for sharing your experiences from the pilot and how you think of the world moving along. Windows 365 Link can really help you with lower the total cost of ownership. This is a really important factor in product design and how we think about the experience, how we think of designing the hardware, and what value we want to deliver to our end customers. In fact, you have 2 pilot customers sitting with us on stage right now, but we have over 40 more from whom we've been constantly learning through the great work that our product teams have been doing for several months now. And we have a lot of feedback that we've heard on both the end user experience and cost savings and benefits, as well as IT value. You probably saw some of that in like what Daniel and Roman shared with us in this room. But what you're seeing on this slide is a composition of the 40+ customers and what we've been hearing from them, from making users productive in just a few minutes. And important to call out that without any training, no setup costs, no training, imagine all the cost savings for your organization to get that training cost going down. Quick login and log out, super important in a shared workspace scenario for users to just walk in, log in, and just log out, and for the next person to come and do that seamlessly. All the IT management cost savings, which are so important in the space, whether it's about minimum configuration required on this device, whether it's about having that local compute I was talking about for high-performance video or conferencing solutions, to a very easy reset process. And lastly, I know it's still a little early for us to say this, but the trend that we are seeing from our customers is that customers are experiencing a lower, reduced support time for this device. It is going to be really important as you think about help desk operations and your support costs. But that's the trend we are seeing, and we are looking forward to working with our expanded customer base with the start of this preview to learn more and really deliver that value back to our customers and the IT organizations. So what's next from here on? You've probably seen some of this before, but I think I want to call out a few things. If you're interested, which looking at the crowd over here and I'm sure looking online, there's a lot of customers. I'm sensing this across Ignite. Please apply for the public preview program by December 15th. So that's an important date. We're about a month away from that. You will have to work with your local Microsoft account teams to ensure that you are able to apply for that program. Stay tuned for more information from Microsoft, from us, as we work towards general availability by April 2025. That is when this device will be available for purchase in select markets. This is the first dedicated device for Windows 365, and we're not going to stop over here. You heard this in the general sessions as well, but just like we did for the two-in-ones, we're going to start with these first-party devices to make sure that we do all the work on the Microsoft side to get the right product experience, and then we'll really invest our time and energy to scale this cloud PC category by working very closely with our hardware device partners in 2025. I've got a set of slides for those of you in the room. This content will be available online, and for those of you online, you can take a look at the announcements from this week, as well as we have a great video with Jaylene on Microsoft Mechanics, which is our tech channel. And from the last I heard, I think we are already at almost like 100,000 views, so I do see a lot of interest in that. So make sure that you get there and get all the latest updates from Microsoft and catch up with all the energy from Ignite. I know we're at the end of our session, so just before we close off, I do want to make the time, once again, on behalf of Microsoft, we want to thank you all in the room and joining us online. We hope to continue this conversation as we make progress on your endpoint strategy. And we do welcome your questions. We do have maybe a minute left before we wrap up the official feed, the online feed for this session.
We have 20
we will all be
seconds.
around. 24 seconds. All right.
All right. I think.
So, but if there's a question, we can take it. But if not, we are going to be right here to make sure and we have a whole bunch of Microsoft experts in the room as well. So we want to make sure none of the questions are unanswered. So feel free to stop by. Thank you all.
Thank you.